Good evening. Thank you for joining us for the School District of the City of Dearborn for our regular board meeting, Monday, April 10th, 2023. It is 7:02. We will call the meeting to order and ask for a roll call.
Trustee Barry?
Here.
Trustee D'Ambrosio? Trustee McDonald?
Here.
Trustee Mosip?
Here.
Trustee Petchikoff?
Here.
Trustee Watts here. President Thorpe.
Here. Next item.
Pledge of Allegiance to the flag. Ms. Miriam Farhat, Henry Ford Elementary Principal, will introduce students who will lead the Pledge of Allegiance.
Good evening, Superintendent Blaylock, President Thorpe, and board trustees. I have two of our amazing scholars with us tonight. I have our fifth grader, Warda Sultan, and her brother, Zain Sultan, who's in our kindergarten, here to say the pledge for you. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Well done. I love your shirt.
Zane, thank you very much for your help tonight. And Orda, thank you very much for your help.
Great job, guys.
Next item.
Superintendent's update.
Good evening, everyone. I'd like to start, unfortunately, we had a tragic news over the weekend. We had a student at Woodworth Middle School that passed away. So I did reach out to the family and send a message on behalf of the board and the district. I know Principal Rayback has been working in the social work team as well, and counselors and whatnot to provide support over at Woodworth. So if we could take a moment of silence and keep the El Jami family in your thoughts and prayers, please. Thank you. I will move along under my commentary and start with the retirements as we do every month. I want to both thank all of the retirees and congratulate them on their retirement. And thank you for your many years of service. We have John Kazmarek, 24 years of service. Sandra Lansing, over 22 years of service. Kimberly O'Rourke, 25 years of service. Naymat Sabra, over 16 years of service. Michael Zubik, over 33 years of service, if we can show our appreciation. Thank you. I'll move into non-agenda items. April is National Arab American Heritage Month, and the Dearborn Public School is proud to recognize the accomplishments and contributions of Arab Americans have made to our community, state, and country. The district passed an official resolution in June of 2018, proclaiming April of each year to be National Arab American Heritage Month. The resolution encourages all residents to join in the special observance, just as millions of other people from countries around the world have immigrated to the United States to pursue a better life and contribute to the success of our nation. So too have Arab Americans. For more than a century, Arab Americans have been making valuable contributions to virtually every aspect of American society in medicine, law, business, technology, government, and culture. Men and women of Arab descent have become woven into the American tapestry as they share their rich culture and traditions. I also want to just, in thanking our Arab Americans, I also want to mention that Mike Asaley, during the spring break on a Friday night, went on CBS newscasts to help promote Arab American Heritage Month, and he did a great job. Thank you. And maybe we could show our appreciation. All right, I'm going to move along on my agenda items. I want to mention I was at the national conference, the National School Board Conference, a little over a week ago. We provided two presentations, one on social media and one on student voice. David Mustonen was there with me, along with Dr. Violet Swiden, and the stars of our presentations were students Miriam El Sagir and Tia Berry. They did an outstanding job And now that we had about, I think, 100 at one of the sessions and about 90 at the other. And I know many of the trustees have been at the national conference. It's a huge conference. But again, we're going to, show how Dearborn leads, continues to lead. Very proud of the students. We also got good news just that the day before the presentation, or 2 days before, that Miriam was accepted at the University of Michigan, so I want to congratulate her. And so was Tia. She knew about it prior, but they were they did a wonderful job. And I know at some point we're going to have our students come present before the board, as we always do. So, thank you. And moving along, we're going to have a little video from our Care to the Core Day. This was also covered by CBS News from reporter Amira Jacobson, who went with us throughout the day on the bus as we were doing positive activities for our traditional Care to the Core Day.
Dearborn Public Schools changed up its curriculum this week to include some lessons in kindness.
It's called Care to the Core Day. Students across the district dedicate part of their day to spreading kindness, wellness, and peer support. Our executive producer impacting communities, Amir Jacobson, rode along with district leaders for the day.
I can be a bucket filler by helping anyone who's in need.
Bucket fillers.
It's like if you be kind to people, you get nice stuff in your bucket.
Storytellers.
It wasn't until my early high school years that I decided to stand against the stigma.
Wellness advocates and lessons in gratitude and empathy.
Orphans struggle with a lot of physical and mental health issues that are caused by different things, and we can agree that a proper education as well as positive energy and a positive environment play major roles. Overall, we should all value the free education we are provided with.
Those and more are all part of Care to the Core Day in Dearborn Public Schools.
We're speaking to your inner being right now. And right now, what we need you to do is focus on the impact of words.
We started this about 8 years ago, and it's really to promote social emotional learning, bullying prevention, wellness in the district.
It does definitely continue to show them that we as professionals, as educators, that we care about core values, about kindness, about empathy, about how we treat each other.
Students are able to learn from one another.
When the students are leading it, the students tend to listen more to the students, right? And we're there as the role models, as leaders, but I think student voice is so critical.
Seeing so many girls like me with the confidence to be themselves and unlock their potential gave me the courage to try and do the same.
I think the best part was 3 of us getting to share our personal experiences so that maybe some kids can relate to us and understand that there are people that look like them or sound like them or go to the same high school as them that deal with the same problems they do on a daily basis.
In the end, it shows we're more alike than different.
Yeah.
And that school is a place where everyone is included.
We need to do more of these things on a regular basis and continue to improve, I think, not only in Dearborn, but across the state, because public education is a great institution and it supports students, it supports the betterment of the community.
In Dearborn, Amir Jacobson, CBS News, Detroit.
So I would say if you could see from there, it was going on all day. It was a great day of activities, and I really got to give credit to our staff, our students, and the school community for coming together. And I know Dr. Bazzi Gates, Mr. Saley were leading the way, and several other staff, so I want to thank them. We are going to have a recognition for staff, and it just happens to be School Library Month, and so I know we're going to have some of our media specialists come up later on in the agenda, so I just wanted to point that out. We are also going to have, next month, we plan to have Mr. Wall that is going to come up and do a brief presentation on our operational millage and the whole harmless millage. It was also discussed just now in the Finance Committee. The operational millage is 18 mills non-homestead, and it used to be 6.17, but it's going down for the homestead taxes, and it's roughly for a 18 mil renewal is basically from our operational budget, approximately $32 to $33 million, and it's approximately $7 to $8 million for the hold harmless homestead. And so and it's very complicated. It goes back to Proposal A back in 1994. Every 10 years, districts must go and go back to the voters. So I know there's going to be more discussion coming up on that, but it does. It expires on June 30th, 2024. So more to come on that. Next, I would like to congratulate Trustee Watts on her Board Level 2 certification from MASB, and I know you're going to get recognition. Thanks to Trustee McDonald, I know we're hosting, and Trustee Thorpe and others, Mr. Mustin and Ms. Harris, we're hosting the County MASB Awards later this month on the 27th at 6 p.m. I know you'll be recognized there, so congratulations.
Congratulations.
I also want to do a kudos to the Dearborn Police. Ms. Elziat has been involved in our safety and security specialists in a number of situations, and we are getting great cooperation. I know we have an officer here this evening, and we just appreciate the great cooperation and support that we get from the Dearborn Police, Chief Shaheen, and the whole department. Next, I am going to call up, he was approved last month as the athletic director at Fordson, and I'm going to call up Mr. Rick Dorn, who will be starting soon, I know, as we move into the next school year. And I believe he has someone with him, and you're happy to introduce.
Thank you. I just wanted to take the opportunity to say thanks for showing trust in me to join the team at Fordson. It's a great legacy of athletics at Fordson that I've been a part of as an outsider. My kids have competed many, many times against your students, and I'm just really looking forward to the opportunity. My wife is here with me tonight, Mimi, and she's also an educator of many years, and we're just really excited about this opportunity to come to the Dearborn schools. So I appreciate it. Thank you.
Congratulations. And the last thing that I have, just going down my list here, I'm going to have Ms. Elma Dean and Ms. Pletsky come up from HR. Last month at the board meeting, we had some discussion on some resignations and people coming back, and we're trying to compile that data. I know HR has been getting a lot of that data in board briefs and whatnot, but they have some data, and I know we've got some teachers here, I think, that have some testimonials as well.
Absolutely, thank you. Good evening. Yeah, as Dr. Malenko shared, we have some information for you regarding resignations in the district, so we wanted to share that with you. And we also have some teachers here to share some of their own experiences as to what brought them back to Dearborn after leaving. And we have some letters that we have permission from the teachers to share with you for those that weren't able to join us tonight but would like us to share their words for them.
And if I could just add one thing too, that we're looking at the data and we appreciate the leadership of the board, because obviously we know we need to continue to improve, and that's what we want to do with both retention and recruitment.
Absolutely. So as you know, HR collects data on any staff that does resign from the district. When we do that, we reach out to them in different ways, including an exit survey. That exit survey data has been shared with you. It is confidential personnel information, so we can't share specific examples of it today, but you have access to view all of that yourselves as well. But we also use that really intentionally when we are reflecting on it, because the data we get from it helps us to look and see what has maybe been a struggle for some staff that has led to them wanting to resign, which helps us to adjust and adapt our practices around that. It also lets us see what's been working really well, and so that we can use that to retain our current staff. And then also those things help us with recruitment too. So that information is very important to us as we're moving along. Some of the reasons that staff resigns are a variety of different reasons. We do have staff that makes the choice to go and work in a different district. Many times it's that they are doing it for personal reasons that they may or may not choose to disclose with us. Sometimes it's taking a leave of absence and trying something different, and then they decide that that is what worked better for them and they choose to move into a resignation. Sometimes it's personal circumstances. There may be a health concern. There may be a child care need, or they are simply making a choice to work closer proximity to their family or closer to home. And we do have staff that leaves us because they're moving into a career change or that they're getting a promotion related to education. So we have some teachers who have also gone to work at the county and continue to support the district through RESA in a different way. So there's a lot of different reasons as to why staff chooses to resign. But what we have found as well is that we have a great number of staff that have made that choice to resign and then choose to come back. So we wanted to share some specific data on that with you today. So in looking at data of staff that has returned, teaching staff that has returned since 2018, we currently have 95 DFT teachers who have resigned from the district at some point in the past and have been rehired by the district since 2018. So that is staff that has come from a variety of different backgrounds. So some of those teachers were teachers when they resigned, so they worked here as teachers, resigned, and then came back again as teachers. That's 31 of the 95, and that's just within the last 5 years. We also have 64 who have previously worked in Dearborn in a different capacity, so in a non-instructional capacity, for instance. So they may have been paraprofessionals, they may have been noon hour supervisors, they are potentially have worked with us as a contractor, as a substitute, and then they have resigned from that role, gotten more education, got more experiences, whatever the case is for them, and then when they decided they wanted to be teachers, this is where they chose to come back to. So we're really proud of that information. I think it really is a testament to the environment that is provided in Dearborn. I am going to turn it over to Ms. Caitlin Ball. She's going to come up and share some of her personal experience.
Good evening, President Thorpe, trustees, and Dr. Maliko. My name is Caitlin Ball, and I'm a proud AP at Dearborn High School. I started out my career in the district, before Dearborn, where I was constantly getting pink slipped. I decided to take a position in Dearborn because I knew that Dearborn offered stability. When I started my career at Dearborn, I was a co-teacher at Stout Middle School. After a year, I was encouraged, or you could say I was drafted, to become an ASD teacher at Smith. I'm not going to lie, I was afraid of the new scary principal, new building, new staff to work with, and a center-based classroom that I never taught before. It truly was a blessing in disguise. Smith was my second home and family. Moving to the ASD program made us, as a team, stronger teachers, learn how to become teacher leaders, and being a part of the best ASD special ed team in Dearborn. Wanda, Dina, and Hannah Richards and the support staff created an ASD program where it isn't an island, but it was truly a part of the school community, and staff and students that truly accepted us. An ASD program truly takes a village. Our team wanted to give our students every experience possible, meaning by a village, a supportive special ed director, a principal that was willing to help make impossible possible, community members willing to donate for events and activity, school board members and district staff members always were present and helping at events and even including our students in Reading Month. Our families were also helpful and supportive. Well, maybe they were voluntold. Susan Rocky, our mentor teacher that guided us, our significant others would bring us coffee when we needed more energy. Our paras would go above and beyond, even outside of work hours, and the behavioral specialists and custodians would do whatever we need. I will never forget trying to cut a turkey in half because it didn't fit in the oven with my classroom para at 6 a.m. Things wouldn't be possible if it wasn't for this school community and that the support they were given to us. The biggest part why we did all this was our students. Our students helped us become more patient, empathetic, and help us learn how to create relationships with students and families. It was never easy, but it was the most rewarding part to see each of our students grow. We loved every single student and their family. Truly, the students with autism are a blessing, and I was the lucky one to have them as my students. Did I mention at one point I left and came back? I was offered an opportunity for a leadership position to expand my career outside of the district. You are probably seeing why I thought you loved this place. In this experience, everything happens for a reason. Truly, my heart was in Dearborn. Once I stepped away, I saw that loud and clear. I truly missed the people I worked with, the students, and the program that I worked hard on. I decided to come back to Dearborn and to Smith. I wanted to continue to push myself to a different leadership opportunity, and when I returned, I started working on my administrative internship during my prep hour with Mr. Rummel and Mr. Brill. I am truly appreciative of Mr. Asali and Mr. Brill for allowing me to return. You do not always get those opportunities, and I have worked in other districts, and I applaud the support that Dearborn provides to the staff, especially growing teacher, leaders, and administrators from within. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I'm going to read a testimony from a teacher who was not able to be with us tonight, and she gave us permission to read the letter that she sent to us. To whom it may concern, my name is Chantel Blaylock, and I am a special education teacher at Fortson High School. My journey through education has been different than most. Most educators spend the majority of their career in one district, maybe two. Most don't leave a district and then ask to come back, but my path is particular to me. Dearborn Public Schools hired me right out of college in August 2011. I taught at Etzel Ford High School as a special education teacher. I resigned after 3 years because I couldn't help but wonder what it was like in another district. What type of students would I work with? Who would I be able to help? I am a product of Dearborn Public Schools, graduating from the class of 2005 from Dearborn High School. I know what it's like to be a student in these classrooms. I know what it's like to also be a teacher. I wanted to be challenged and see what else was out there. After working in 2 other districts as a special education teacher, Dexter Community College, Community Schools and Allen Park Public Schools, I took a leap of faith. I contacted Mike Casaley and asked for my job back in Dearborn. I am happy to say that since 2018, I have been back in Dearborn and won't be leaving. I started my career here. I will end my career here. What I found in my 4 years away from Dearborn was simple. I was chasing something that I already had in Dearborn. Dearborn is home. Dearborn is where I belong. Dearborn is what molded me into the person I am today. Dearborn is full of diversity and culture. Dearborn is a large district that provides the opportunity for movement along with different types of positions you don't find in other districts. I wouldn't be telling the truth if I said I don't regret leaving Dearborn in the first place, but in leaving, I can say that without a doubt, I am the happiest I have ever been in my career. I have found my home, Fortson High School, go Tractors. Chantel Blaylock.
I'm also going to read a statement from another teacher who would like to share their input. My name is Laura Friedman, and I have been a physical education teacher for the past 10 years. I was hired into Dearborn Public Schools in April of 2014 after finishing up a long-term subbing position that began several months prior. Up until the beginning of the last school year, I was a teacher at Bryant Middle School, where I was also involved in coaching 2 sports, volleyball and track and field. Last fall, I took a position in a different district. I was searching for a change and a new challenge and was very excited to discover that I would be getting a raise on top of it. I decided to leave the Dearborn district. After beginning my job in a different district, I found out very quickly that it was not the right fit for me. I take great pride in my job and love what I do, educating young adults about physical activity and the importance of physical education in the hopes of giving students the knowledge to continue on with physical activity throughout their lifetime and to enjoy it. When I began at this new district and school, I was not able to do the job the way that I wanted to. The class sizes were unreasonable, as 3 physical education teachers were expected to teach their classes all in one gym at the same time. On top of that, there was no administrative support. When Scott Hummel reached out to me after discovering I was unhappy, he told me of an opening back in the Dearborn district, and I decided to take it. When I was working at Bryant for those 8 years, I knew I had a good thing going. I just did not realize just how good it was until I did not have it anymore. The support of the staff, the secretaries, and especially the administration. I thought that I needed to see what else was out there for me as an educator, since working in Dearborn was all I knew. What I didn't realize was what I had created for myself while being a part of Dearborn Public Schools, the relationships I had made within the different schools and in the community, and most importantly, the impact I had made on students. That is why I decided to return to the district. I wanted to return to the place where I knew I was appreciated and wanted, which unfortunately took me leaving the district to realize. Being an educator today is becoming more challenging, but it's the relationships that you create with other staff and having the support from administration that allows us to do our jobs the right way and help the education of students. Thank you for your time.
I have one more statement from Ms. Rawa Ganfi. Dear Superintendent and Board of Education, my name is Rawa Ganfi, and I'm currently the Department Chair of the Special Education Department at Edsel Ford High School. I've been with Dearborn Public Schools for about 11 years as a resource room teacher with a 1-year hiatus at a different school district. During that 1-year gap, I realized that although I left for an administrative opportunity, I also sacrificed other things that I valued. Dearborn has an environment and culture that is unmatched. The staff, students, and administrators that I've worked with over the years were part of many great memories and experiences. What really stuck out to me during my absence was the support, teamwork, and friendships that I left behind. I also noticed that I was given more flexibility and freedom to make a bigger impact in the department. When the opportunity was presented for me to come back, I knew that it would be an easy decision. Despite the change of location, I have found that the same culture exists throughout the district, especially at Edsel Ford High School. The leadership in the special education department has made the process a seamless one with their support and guidance in this new position. I hope to have many more positive experiences and continue to grow as an administrator to provide a greater impact on the district and schools community as a whole. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
We do have one other who is on his way in right now who will share once he gets here, but if you have any questions.
He may be behind you.
There. This is Mr. Michael Bustamante.
Hi, I'm Michael Bustamante. I'm the emotional impaired teacher at Edsel Ford. I've had the experience to know 3 different districts, and one of the reasons, or most of the reason I came back here was because, 1, my roots are in Dearborn. I was raised in the east side, and 2 is the way the special ed is, I got to see another district, and my views on how special ed is supposed to be run is being done here with the least restrictive environment. And where I was at previously, they were doing a lot of things with compliance issues. Another reason was because of the DTU supporting the staff with PDs, and just having a mentor is really helpful as a new teacher to bounce ideas off of, and really just have someone there for you, because at the previous district I was at, I didn't have anybody. So when I would come into some issues that I had, really there was no one to go to except for the principal, and it was just this whole ordeal. But that's pretty much why I came back. And I'm fortunate for Mike and the rest of the special education to welcome me back. So that's it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Before we take any questions, was there any other items that you had? And then we can make sure we cover everything at once.
I just have one. I just wanted to do a shout out. It's Autism Awareness Month, and just that to recognize all of our staff, our parents, and all the students that are dealing with that disability.
Okay. Trustee Liskov.
I don't have a question, I just have a comment. I want to thank you for this presentation for one reason. I've been on the board since 2008, and over the years, you always hear the perception of assumptions of why people leave the district. And a lot of times it's an assumption of that there's something wrong with the building or the district, and the person left dissatisfied. And tonight we were able to get a different perspective and a personal point of view that shows that when you have a community that has over 1,300 staff members who, for a variety of reasons, are going to come and go over the years, and that it's not all necessarily a bad thing, nor is it something that we have necessarily missed or done wrong. Sometimes it's just human nature to explore, experiment, and find their path. And I'm so happy to hear about the successes when we have them return. And I also understand the necessity to examine those exits and understand what we may be missing and what we can improve upon. But at the end of the day, I don't think we should paint the district and our buildings with one broad brush and just make the assumption that everybody's leaving because they're unhappy. And so I really do appreciate this presentation to help us understand that there are many, many points of view in order to understand why we hire and what we're doing to encourage it. Thank you.
Trustee Barry?
Yes. Very nice presentation. No doubt in my mind that we've always had one of the best districts. There's always room for improvement. But this presentation was just so disrespectful to hundreds of teachers out there that's left our district the last 5 years, that were pushed out, that nobody's speaking for them. This presentation was not on my agenda. I have a folder that I could have brought here and shared with you and everybody else out there about people that we've touched, we've talked to, that just, felt like the district was going a different direction. They didn't get support from their administrator or from central office. And it's some sad, it's some heartbreaking stories that I myself have heard. I've shared some of it with my colleagues, but it was just, this presentation was, I wish to God it would have been on my agenda so I could have shared what I wanted. What am I talking about? Maybe next month I will, but obviously I'm directing my comments to the superintendent, not to, God bless what, all of our staff does. With that being said, Dr. Maleko, I have a confidential memorandum here that Jim Thorpe and Trustee McDonald President Thorpe, has, that I want to bring to attention. And I also, you can have a seat, I'm directed to. Thank you for that presentation. And with that, there's going to be some questions. They're going to raise some issues that will fall under superintendent evaluation. So with that being said, in accordance with the board policy numbers 1210 and 1240, and the revised school code section 1249, parentheses MCL 380.1249, we need to go into a closed session. We can do this in two ways. I can build consensus with the board to go into a closed session right now, or you can just make that choice on your own. I have some serious questions I want to ask.
So can you restate the reasons to call for a closed session?
I have the confidential memorandum from Attorney Gibbs that you have a copy of, and so does Trustee McDonald. And the last paragraph is pretty much what I just read, which the questions that I have that I'm prepared to ask. David, we're good here. So some of these questions are very, very sensitive questions. It doesn't reflect on Dr. Maleko, so that's why I'm asking to go into a closed session. I can put a motion on the table unless Dr. Maleko, before I ask any question, would you like to go?
What I would just say is I need time to prepare for whatever may be, so I need advance written notice as afforded to everyone what this is about, so I'm not prepared to make a decision without having.
I have no problem asking my questions out in public, and I don't care about.
Well, I need my 24-hour notice, advance notice, and like every employee, and so I'm formally requesting that in writing before I go into any meeting, because I know that.
President Thorpe, what direction would you like to go here?
What I would ask is, could we prepare to do this then before the next regular board meeting? Or we were going to be doing a study session. That's going to be after the next board meeting, sorry. I would ask if we could wait so that fulfills the 24-hour notice.
I would like to get to this tonight. So with that being said, I'd like to put a motion on the table to go into closed session, which is part of the evaluation of our superintendent.
And I'm not willing to go into any meeting without advance written notice.
Just put a motion on
Which
the
is
table.
afforded
If it doesn't
to
get
every
supported,
employee in
then.
Dearborn Public Schools. And again, there's nothing I've done wrong, so.
Oh, no.
There's the impression.
Let me be very clear. I'm not painting a picture that you did anything wrong, sir.
Let's
I just have some
So
questions.
we've got a motion on the table.
There's a motion on the table.
Is there support?
I'll support it.
All right, then we need to do a roll call.
And it has to be a supermajority.
Right. And with one member absent, that means 4 votes.
Trustee Barry?
Yes.
Trustee D'Ambrosio? Trustee McDonald?
No.
Trustee Moses?
Yes.
Trustee Petrikov?
No.
Trustee Watts? Nope. President Thorpe?
No.
Okay, so I'll work with President Thorpe and Dr. Malika to set that up.
Thank you.
Yes, sir, thank you. So still under other with, under non-agenda items, I gave you the heads up on this one, Dr. Maleko. I would have appreciated that you were going to give us a heads up on this teacher presentation, but okay, that didn't happen that way. But regarding the reading by the 3rd grade request, I do have that report that we all received. I do have some questions. Am I asking you or am I asking one of the staff?
I have Ms. Faraj and Ms. Arani, I believe, will be coming up.
Good evening, everyone.
Hello. So in the February meeting, I asked about the 29 third graders from 2019 that were eligible to be held back. Not, I wouldn't support anybody being held back, but they were eligible, but we've got a good faith waiver for them. And I also asked for, where are these students now? So, I took it a step further, where I'm reading here from the minutes of that meeting that were approved, unanimously approved in the March meeting. It says, I'd like to see the bottom 30% of that group, the third graders, which easy math, they're 7th graders now in 2023, if I'm correct. So this report, where is that information? There's a lot of information here.
So what we did there was we looked at the students and we gave their current grade level. Now you can see that on there, and broke it down based on how many were eligible for retention based on the cutoff set by MDE there with the law of the score below 1252 on MSTEP. And we looked at their attendance data, as those that were chronically absent. We looked at their current GPAs, those that were failing courses in their core reading and in math. We also looked at discipline data on them, so if they had 3 or more suspensions. And then overall, just how many were ended up being retained, which none of them were, because even though the law was set forth,
Fully
MDE
understood,
gave us,
yes.
because of that.
So on this report, what are we looking at? Do you have a copy of the report?
Yep, on this.
Where am I supposed to look at to get that information that you just shared? So those 29 students, let's start with the 29 students, not the bottom 30%. Where are they at?
You have more information than the 29 students.
That's why I'm asking to
year-
clarify, please, yeah.
By year, you have, starting with 2017 up to 2021. Actually, when the law started being implemented was 2017.
2016.
The law got into effect in 2016, but we had to wait for the students to become third graders by 2017. So we had 9 students that year, or I'm sorry, we had 40 students that year who met that threshold of 1152 to be retained. We had 24 in 2018, 19 in 2019 that were recommended.
Can I interrupt you here for a second?
Mhm.
Please, I mean, just so I understand it. This is just too much information coming in. So the law under Snyder administration was in 2016. They gave us 3 years to get everybody all caught up.
Correct.
So the third graders in 2019, is that what am I looking at right here?
Yes, yes.
2019. Let's just concentrate on that.
Okay.
Throw too much at me, you're gonna lose me. Okay, I'm getting old. I know I'm not supposed to say that anymore, but I just said it. So in 2019, I do have a report that there's 29 eligible students that were eligible to be retained. So am I correct to say out of those 29 students, 19 are still with us?
Correct.
Okay.
Yes, because many of those students are no longer with the district.
Okay, so explain the next column, 74%. What is that?
74% of those students will have an EL or English language label or identification.
Okay,
And then you have your special education. 5% of those qualify for special education
out of the
services.
19 or the 29?
5% of the 19 students.
19.
Yeah,
We
we're
have no
still tracking
idea.
those 19 students and looking at who they are.
So those other 10 students, did they
Are no
fall
longer with Dearborn.
behind or no longer with Dearborn Public
Correct.
Schools? Thank you very much, because maybe it's in there, but I couldn't find it.
No, it's quite all right.
So, failing grade here,
We were looking at their language arts and their math. We were looking to see how they are currently, or actually language arts, since that's what the law focused on. We were looking at their current grades, because currently they're 7th graders, looking at how they were doing, if they had a passing grade or not.
so what is that 37%? That's why I like to see raw numbers
37%
instead
of those
percentages.
students have a failing grade in language.
37% of those students have a failing grade.
And language arts.
In language arts, yeah, you said math.
I apologize.
Let's just keep it on, yeah, language arts. So GPA of 2.0,
Mhm.
it says 74%?
Yep, 74% of that group of 19, that cohort there, have a GPA of higher than 2.0.
So this asterisk under the bottom of that chart,
Yeah, so we defined what the passing grade would have been in language arts, and we were looking at a C minus.
C minus is a passing grade, okay. So chronically absent
More than 10 absences within the current school year,
with
10
the
or more.
current, so is that
10%.
32% of the, back to the 19, 32% of them?
Correct,
So that's 8 or 9 students
for the most
roughly,
part, roughly, yes.
got 10 or more absences?
Correct.
Okay,
10% of their school days.
Yeah, so of the 180 days, they have 10%.
okay, up to, okay, yeah, I got that.
That's how it's defined by the state.
And 3, this is the important one for me, 3 plus suspensions,
Correct, so we went.
60% of them,
We looked
16%
at
of
the
them.
number of suspensions that they have on record in MyStar, and anyone with 3 or more suspensions on file.
So
counted.
my thinking, if a student is behind by 3rd grade and doesn't get caught up, by the time he or she becomes a 7th grader, and from the reports that we get, it's been he more than she, those kids are still behind. Those become the labeled students. These are my words only, not yours. It's the way I'm seeing, looking at it. Those become the labeled students. And God only knows what happens when they get to high school. I love questions. You know why? Because question leads to this honest discussion. Where do we go from here? Now you go back and you do your work. I'll dig up my work and get some more questions. I don't like when I ask questions and I get answers that just don't lead to anywhere, just because it is what it is. And I'm not saying that's what you're saying. I'm just putting it out there. Questions are very, very important. We answer to the taxpayers of Dearborn. We answer to the parents of Dearborn. Okay, that's who our bosses are. Okay, and these are the discussions that are happening in the communities. These are discussions that are happening. I think it was like 120 members of the community, including the mayor and a lot of people in that meeting, having these discussions about the future of our city, the future of our district. So I will have this is very valuable information, but moving forward, I want to concentrate on those students some more. Okay, like this, just to me, 3 plus suspensions. Is it 10? Are these kids, these students? I'm sorry, these students, our students. Is 1 or 3 of them not on track to graduate? Are they going to get to one of the high schools? They're going to get one to the high schools and become that student that's going to stop right there? We know what happens. And furthermore, this is something that the current city administration is dealing with. When the students, yes, they might graduate with C minuses or D minuses or whatever, but when they get out there and they feel like they're lost, they get behind these killing machines at night. They get involved in drugs. They get involved in all this ugly stuff. If we don't take care of our babies, this community right here, the people that live in this community, if we don't look out for what's best in interest of our babies, shame on us, shame on us, shame on us. So this is the beginning of a discussion that's going to continue, and I'm hoping that a year from now, 2 years from now, 5 years from now, we're going to be celebrating, because 12 years ago, has it been 12 years? I asked a question about graduation rates, and it's right now we're celebrating what the former boards and former superintendent did. But that's okay. That's what's best for the district. I want to celebrate this information. I'm going to start I'm starting a nonprofit, and I'm putting it out there to get our second and first and third graders in front of, just like I do youth football, it's going to be coaches and whatever, and it's going to be a nonprofit, and the money is already there for this to start. We want to be part of the solution. Dearborn Public Schools, the city of Dearborn, and a nonprofit, all of the businesses are going to support this. 5 years from now, we are going to be celebrating these numbers because I'm not taking my foot off the pedal on this one. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Trustee Barry, any other ones before we move to the next question?
No,
All right. Trustee Watts?
thank you.
I'm good, thank you.
All right. Thank you for taking the time to share some of those thoughts with us. I know professionally it is not uncommon to see people change jobs, I want to say 6 to 8 times in their career. And sometimes it could be they completely move from one career track to another. So knowing that people move from one district to another, you just have to kind of accept that that's going to happen. And it's always nice to hear that some of them want to come back because they've seen that maybe the grass isn't greener on the other side. Next item, please.
Recognition and acknowledgements, commendations.
Hello, my name is Maya Hassan and I'm from Dearborn High School.
I'm Lily Turfa and I'm also from Dearborn High School. So starting off with the district commendations. Commendations to bus drivers Venice Ledford and Ervin Warren. Both were selected to receive Wayne County Excellence in Transportation Awards.
Then with high school, commendations to the 16 students from the Dearborn Center for Math, Science, and Technology who attended the Science and Engineering Fair of Metro Detroit last month. Congratulations to Rawan Faki, 11th grade, who took first place in her category. Hattie Baydoun, Jada Hanawi, and Sam Roberts, who won third place in their categories. Hattie Baydoun, who also won fourth place at the State Science Fair. Hamad Hijazi, Peter Schwandorf, and Mark Struman won fourth places in their categories. Brandon, Blunstein, Ethan Duell, Miriam Al-Sagir, Adam Hamoud, Hadi Harb, Zain Muhammad, and Muhammad Sabra all won fifth places in their categories. Ahmed Ayoub and Jana Al-Darubi both won sixth place in their categories. Commendations to the Dearborn High students who received a school record 14 nominations for Student Production Award from the National Academy of Television Arts and Sciences Michigan chapter. 17 students were nominated, including an outstanding seven each for Hassan and Hassan El-Maliki and 4 for freshman Jesse Good. Both of the films nominated for the Best Long-Form Fiction were from Dearborn High. The award ceremony will be held on April 23rd at Michigan State University. Congrats to Mr. Rauscher and the student who worked so hard. Commendations to Eric Giedman, Ali Baydoun, and Amani Sayed for facilitating a coding club at Long Elementary. All 3 are students at Dearborn Center for Math, Science, and Technology. Commendations to the Etzel Ford School students, parents, and staff for raising $6,160 during Etzel's Charity Week. The money was donated to assist the earthquake victims in Turkey and Syria.
Moving on to middle school, commendations to Selena intermediate students and staff who came together to raise money to sponsor orphans and to encourage students to have empathy by imagining the lives of the less fortunate. The campaign also encouraged students to have gratitude for what they have, including a free public education. The school hoped to raise enough to sponsor an orphan for a year, but was able to raise $2,400, enough to sponsor 4 orphans. For elementary school, commendations to Gear Park Elementary School. The school hosted an iftar dinner with Amity Foundation donating all the food and one of Amity's founders attending as an honorary guest. Gear Park held Penny Wars for 2 weeks before the dinner and was able to raise $2,460 to donate back to help victims of the earthquakes in Turkey and Syria. And that's all. Thank you.
Thank you.
Then I'll ask a couple. What year are you each?
We're both seniors.
So what comes next for you?
college. I think I'm still undecided between Wayne State and Detroit Mercy.
Okay.
As of right now, I'm pretty sure that I'm going to be going to Wayne State for biomedical engineering, pre-dental.
Any teachers, support staff, clubs, something that's made a difference for you in your Dearborn student career?
I think we can both agree when I say that student council and Miss Rumler at Dearborn High School have made probably one of the biggest impacts to me and my high school experience. It's a way to get us all together and just plan a bunch of different things for the school. Like this month we're doing something for Heritage Month, and we find ways throughout the whole entire school year to incorporate things to include everyone. And I agree. Student council has had the biggest impact on me. I'm in like a few clubs, but nothing stood out like that. And I've never experienced like meeting so many people at once that share interests in like helping the school become a better place for all of the students. We've all had so much fun with it, and like these last couple months, I'm gonna take advantage of. And yeah, thanks to Miss Rumler.
It's important when you're finishing up your senior year. Enjoy it while it lasts.
Yeah.
We look forward to seeing you in a couple months at graduation. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Next item, please.
Acknowledgement of donations.
I thought Mr. Mustin was going to take it there for a second. Mr. President, Dr. Blaylock, members of the board, I'm here to read off the donations. We have 5 donations, all from the Dearborn Education Foundation. First one is $2,700 has been offered to Salina Intermediate School by the Dearborn Education Foundation to be used for read aloud books. Second one was a donation of $720 has been offered to Howard Elementary School by the Dearborn Education Foundation to be used for STEM bins. Number 3, a donation of $269.70 has been offered to Howard Elementary School by the Dearborn Education Foundation to be used for headphones and microphones. Number 4, a donation of $209.94 has been offered to Howard Elementary School by the Dearborn Education Foundation to be used for stools. And the last one is a donation of $5,200 has been offered to Ethel Ford High School by the Dearborn Education Foundation to be used for pottery wheel and slab rollers. So thank you for all the work that the Dearborn Education Foundation does for our district.
Thank you very much. Next
No
item.
questions for me?
Later.